Hi everyone, I'm going to do something very different than usual, okay, because, today, for me, in Australia, is nothing, but in America, you have fun little date formats, so you celebrate LV426 Day, and so today, I'm going to do a Xenomorph tier list. Please note, the green screen, this hat is green, the UCS Nostromo, so now that you've seen the front, I can do what I do. I don't wear hats like this. I'm Matt Backhat. Or at least if my friends call me Matt Backhat. I don't know. My wife said I look cute with a backwards facing cap. It's a weird story. Let's move on. So I'm on tier list maker, Xenomorph power ranking, happy LV4/26. Which Xeno is the best? Oh, that's not how you spell V. There you go. My ping files. AVM, please. I've tried this so many times. This is like my third take. So I have all of these now, and I want to start off with a dishonorable unmention. So this here, the Subterranean Xenomorph. It's just a Xenomorph that has been documented to dig more than others. Surely others can dig. I am a human, I can dig. I have the hands, I have the this guy could. I'm sure the rest could. I'm sure a Facehugger could make a sweet little nest. Spiders do it all the time. This is ridiculous. So other casts like that, where it's like, this one swims. It's like, yeah, they swam in Alien Resurrection. It's fine. We'll move on. So let's start off with the very first thing you see is actually the Overmorph, but that's an egg, and chickens lay eggs. I don't care about that. But the Facehugger, it's good at what it does, okay? The Facehugger sneaks in. You hardly see it. It is actually quite a weird, very pale color, very human hands. So it's very kind of creepy for us, and presumably not creepy at all for engineers. So, but for me, because it does what it does well. Which leads me on to a cast from Alien vs. Predator Extinction on the PlayStation 1? No, PlayStation 2. So this is a carrier, right? The carrier's job is to carry the Facehugger. But it's small, it's compact, it's a tiny little spider that's gonna come and get you in the middle of the night. You don't need a whole other Xenomorph to come and babysit. If you do, you just use a regular Xenomorph. So I'm gonna put him... I don't think he's quite a fail, because AVP Extinction is like, it's big war, right? So I'm just gonna give it D, because it does have a very small use, but it's not enough. Honestly, it's not enough. The Chest Burster. See, the Chest Burster, on the one hand, I want to be like, okay, it's exactly the same like the Facehugger. It's like, hey, this is good, he does his job. But I'm gonna actually go bits B, because we've seen other entities like this. The Chest Burster. Hell, you know what? I'm sorry to do this. B is my nostalgic rating. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's gotta go C. It's very vulnerable for what it is. Yes, it is stealthy, but overall, when you look at all the others, he's not that good. So this is, on the list that I took this from, is the Ultramorph, which is a behind the scenes thing. So this is actually what I'm using as representation for the alien from the movie Alien. And because it doesn't have an official name like the others, this is, I'm going to call him the Himbo, because he's big, he's a bit stupid, but he tries, you know? He's a drone, or she. Really, I'm pretty sure they're all females. She, except one, we'll get there. She is a drone without purpose. What is she doing? She doesn't know. She survived. That's it. We see in the director's cut there's a little bit more, but overall, I think I'm going to have to put the Himbo in B. So that's the alien from Alien. Warriors, on the other hand, now we're talking. Now we're cooking with the gas. We can see that they can fight. They can take, like, it takes, a pistol does not do much. You need the, Marines firepower. So I'm going to put them at A, because they seem a bit more actively crafty, whereas the Himbo is hiding in one spot and once grabs a guy, but mostly he's very passive, and that's fine because it's a drone, it's not a warrior. But the warriors, they're like, okay, we're going in the vents. This is good, it's smart. Then, of course, the Queen. What can I say about the Queen is amazing. The first time you see the Queen in Aliens, and if the first time you see the Queen isn't Aliens, I'm so sorry for you. So this is nostalgia, but also mixed with logic. Just the idea of the system that you've got like these alien ant/bees going on here, and then you come across the Queen Bee, and oh fuck, she's angry. It's good. It's just good. It's just good. But then we got the Queen Facehugger. So that's these red guys. So this is obviously from the comics. And I know that they're technically aliens, but I am going to base a lot of this off of, you know, ants and bees and stuff. Right into F. What? No. It's like Death Lotto. It's like a loot crate you don't want to open. Is my Facehugger gonna be the one Facehugger that's responsible for the end of mankind? Or is it just gonna be responsible for a few murders? You know? I don't like the idea. Honestly, I don't like the idea. And which one was this one again? So this is the Praetorian Facehugger. So we'll get to the Praetorians next. That's also F. I feel like the way that the system works, there's just one kind of Facehugger. It's a Facehugger. The Facehugger facehugs. And then depending on the environment, depending on the host, like if the Facehugger determines that its host is really good, okay, well then now I'm going to be the queen because I'm going to be stronger. Something like that. So Praetorians, where I hear you are. That said, I love Praetorians. I want to chuck them up an A. The only problem I have with it is it does muddy the line. What is the point of having... They would have been an S, but what is the point of having warriors if you can have Praetorians? Why wouldn't you have one queen, everyone else is a Praetorian? Why wouldn't you do that? If you're a spacefaring killing machine, why don't you do that? I want to now kind of go, and I'm going to pick things that I have the least to talk about, hopefully. So this is an android alien. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that you can control aliens at all, putting cybernetics in them. Some people like it. I don't. Because, and here's my reasoning, because they're mechanically organic, I feel like you would need to make some sort of cordyceps nanobot in order to fight something that is already a machine, organic machine. So this is that other one that I was talking about, Swimmer. Yeah, they swam in Alien Resurrection. Why? What comic book writer was like, yes, I've made my mark on the Xenomorph universe. This is one that can swim. Mutated chest burster? So I'm an alien. Not really, I don't think that. But say I was an alien, I wouldn't want a mutated chest burster. I would want a regular chest burster so that I could continue to destroy the universe. So acid alien, I kind of have a duplicate with the spitter alien. Where are you? So let's put them in the same spot. And I want to say A for these guys. So these are, in my mind, these two are one and the same. They just look different. They're different variations of what the same idea is. So we see in Alien Resurrection, there is one xenomorph that spits acid. However, in my head, that particular one, it's like he bit his tongue and then decided to fire it. Use it as a weapon, like last resort, you know? Whereas these guys, they were made to do that. And I feel like that's a good, if there's some sort of drawback to them, that's a good thing for a hive to have if it's like under attack. Okay, we need someone with artillery. And that's why the carrier is at D and not F, because obviously certain things call for different, and that's the same with Ravager. So the Ravager I want to put in C. And so the Ravager is also from Alien vs Predator Extinction. And the point of Ravager is it's just a strong drone. And I'm like, well, if you're going to have a strong drone, make all of your drones strong. But this is in response to Alien vs Predator Extinction is a very interesting scenario where you have a big hive, you've got big predator organization, and you've got mankind, and they're all at their strongest. And it's just a big war of attrition. And so that's the only time that it makes sense for something like this to exist. The Runner. Now, remember how I said Himbo is a drone without purpose? Well, the Runner is a drone with purpose. It's protecting the Queen. And even though the movie itself, me personally, there's a difference for me between the movie and like the narrative of the movie and what the movie gives to the universe. And I'm like that. I overthink that with Marvel, with DC. I have watched Peppa Pig with my niece and nephew and then began to overthink that universe. It's what I do. So what it did for the narrative, I didn't care that much, but what it did for the universe is it did solidify that a drone, push come to shove, that, like, it's good. It's all good. I love it. Albino alien. Again, this is like a mutated chest burster. Like, it's not as cut and dry as it's just like, oh, it's also a variant. On the Xenomorph homeworld, you got this pack and this pack, this two hives fighting. And so that's fun where you have that kind of thought experiment. And the same kind of thing for the white hybrid. So this hybrid here is a hybrid of man, Xenomorph, and Predator. He's just a Mary Sue, isn't it? I think that one particularly is a king version. And so it's like, you're just a Mary Sue. You're just... That's it. What are we writing for? Why do we continue? We're done. David, what are you doing trying to make more aliens? We've perfected it, apparently. Speaking of kings and David, let's start with the king. Where are you? So the king... I look at the king, and I look at the idea, and I look at Xenomorphs, and I look at bees and ants, and I think, wow, a man wrote this, didn't he? A man wrote it and was like, if there's a queen, there's gotta be a king. And it's like, that's not how it works. And again, he's overpowered. What's the point of him? I like the idea, but it's a very human artificial idea of going, if there's a queen, there's gotta be a king. You know, it's it's all lives matter, but in Xenomorph form. Not all men, you know? You're redundant. The queen is the queen at the top. I'm being very harsh, but I kind of want to start harsh and then move up and get more interesting. So that is why the order I'm doing is a bit funky. So here we have the Empress. And the Empress, again, it's very artificial. Oh, if we have a queen, we've got a king, then we've got an Empress. You know, that's a very human idea. And while I don't like it overall, I'm gonna put it in B, because again, I don't like the idea, if you can have a more powerful thing, why not just have the more powerful thing? But I do like, and it's the same with Queen Mother. Is Queen Mother here? Okay, so this is the Queen Mother, and this one I'm gonna put down at C, because Queen Mother only has one real usage, and that's on Xenomorph Prime. That's where, you know, it's a planet full of aliens. They need to really be wrangled, you know? If you don't have a Queen Mother to orchestrate the entire planet, if it's an entire planet full of aliens, that's like a whole other thing we're going for. But I like Empress, because that makes a little bit more sense. Queen Mother, it's like, you can't have, like, you cannot reasonably have a whole planet full of aliens. It's very absurd to just entropy, you know? Like, I don't think an alien, it's like a dog chasing a car. Thanks, Joker. We live in a society. It's like a dog chasing a car. An alien hive will never actually want to entirely take over the planet. And I think that's actually proven in Aliens, because they don't take over the entire base. They take over the one spot in the whole base. They're like, this is it. And then they all bunch together. I don't think they would reasonably, like, I don't think you would have a Queen Mother, but I think an Empress does have a little bit more sense if you've got, you know, this one hive here, this one hive here, this one hive here, and then those three queens, out of the three, one of them goes, okay, look at me, I'm the captain now. Especially this one in the photo, if I'm correct in my identification. That's a big nerdy boy. I think that's the one from Alien vs. Predator 2010, and she individually, I love her. She would be S, maybe. That could just be my nostalgia. Who knows? Jockey alien. Not canon. Gonna give him B, because it's so funny. So first of all, jockeys really should have had the trunks the whole time. I know it's a breathing apparatus. It makes plenty of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Do you get many trunks? Outside of Star Wars, I can't think of any aliens with trunks. But then again, I'm very limited. I haven't seen enough. Let's have a little Mortal Kombat break. So, first of all, the Takatan Xenomorph. I had no idea that the playable Xenomorph, I'm pretty sure, in Mortal Kombat X, XL, is actually, it's not a human, it's a Takatan. And that makes so much sense why it's willing to fight, why it's willing to not behave the way that a Xenomorph would. Even a warrior wouldn't go, I'm just going to punch you now. Like, it would never go one-on-one fisticuffs. And it makes sense because it's actually not a human Xenomorph, it's a Takatan Xenomorph, and the DNA has grunked him up. That's fantastic. Then you have the symbiotic Xenomorph, which is a funny joke on Farah and Tor. That's a funny joke. But it implies the existence of lesser Xenomorphs, and they would never do that. Would look at Farah and be like, no thank you, we have Tor now. Or we've got the Takatans, you know? It would probably more likely be used as just meat. But perhaps, you know, they still let the Xenomorph out, and the Xenomorph would not act like, they wouldn't act like Farah and Tor. They wouldn't be symbiotic like Farah and Tor are. It's a fun joke. It's really cool. But I don't see it happening. I'm very sorry, goodbye. I cannot make the leap in logic. I'm very sorry. But Gore Xenomorph, holy hell, Gore Xenomorph, he's sick. Well, because the Queen already has extra arms. Why not Gore Xeno? Man, A. I reckon A is pretty good. Crusher from Aliens Colonial Marines. Same problem, putting it in C. If it exists, why not do that? Like, if you could have Crusher, just make all of your aliens Crusher. They don't want to Crusher all the time because they want to be stealthy. Damn, okay, never mind. I just argued myself. B, he goes to B, that's fine. Let's talk about this guy. This overrated guy, Gridman. He's D. He didn't do anything, you know? He got hurt. It was lucky for him that he has acid for blood. Again, it's technically a she, I'm pretty sure. But he did nothing. He just nearly died and then didn't, and we're all putting him up on a pedestal. No, not for that. Crocodile Xenomorph from Batman vs. Aliens. I remember reading this comic. Why is he so huge? You can't see it. You can just see, you can't see my mouse. You can just see there's a person that big and then he's that big. And it's like, what in a crocodile's anatomy has allowed it to grow that's bigger than a house? I want to know. Is that a Crusher Xenomorph? Like, are we seeing in action the same, I guess, instruction to be the big Xenomorph? I don't know. So we're really getting into hybrids and stuff and things that I really want to save for last. So I'm going to look at the ones that I specifically don't know the most about. So let's start with the Arachnid Xenomorph. And this actually goes for every single insect on the Kenner line. Now, you got to understand, the Kenner line of alien toys, I've never physically got one, but they are awesome. I'm not going to deny that they're awesome. But how the hell is a Facehugger gonna Facehug a scorpion? Or a praying mantis? Tell me. Now, moats over here, moats could work, but they didn't use moats, they used Facehugger. F, that's not real. That can't exist. It's none of it is real. Speaking of not real, if you combine a demon and a Xenomorph, that sounds like it would be the coolest thing ever. However, it's not. It's very boring. It doesn't exist very long. Like, really, I would think... Okay, so we've got Parademon, we got Firebrand, we got a Xeno with fire powers, and then we've got this demon, Dark Xeno, and they don't do as much as they really should. If, like, a regular Xenomorph has been seen to do so much more, and then they have magical powers. And then no, they don't. Like, can you imagine actually having the combination of magic and aliens, put them together? It would be done. It would be over. It already is game over, man, game over. Now he freaking knows Alohomora. Doesn't need to go through the vents. Like, alright. Okay, so this is the Mantis alien from the Kenner line. Again, Facehugger, not gone to work. Who else do we got? So this is a Flying Queen alien. Why? So this is one that's, I believe, it's on the homeworld. It's not, again, one that I don't know much about. Why, if you can have wings, why don't you have wings? Alien with wings sounds sick. put it in B. But if you can do that, why don't you do that? I don't understand. EarthAngel.jpg. I'm gonna have to look this up. Aliens Earth Angel is a 13-part comic book story. It seems like it's so mysterious that it seems cool, when in reality I'm not seeing much there myself. If it's hard to research, it can't be that good? Question mark? So we've got a gorilla Xenomorph, and that's just a Xenomorph, I guess. Like, he's a bit stronger. So these are the kind of newer and more controversial things. And I'm going to start with probably the most controversial thing. From Aliens Colonial Marines, we have this guy. This is a husk of an alien. It's an alien about to die. And I'm sure you've seen many videos where he waddles around and he looks so stupid. Benny Hill music plays and it's so stupid. This guy's the scariest thing. If you are playing with the AI correctly, it is terrifying. They go up to you, they just explode. That moment where you're in the sewers with these guys, it is terrifying. The next thing closest to it is the creature from Alien Isolation. Now the creature, this is your biggest rival. A lot of you guys are gonna have played Alien Isolation, and if you're an Alien fan and you haven't played Alien Isolation, you're a fool. Now the drawback, so here's the spoilers, so skip like 10 seconds for spoilers when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go. There's more than one. And that means it's not that strong. It seems stronger than it is, but it's really just a trick, you know? And for that reason alone, I'm gonna have to put it down to... So if I'm putting Himbo at B, I think I'm gonna have to put the creature at C for that reason. So we've got Deacon. Deacon is a fun little romp, doesn't do that much. D. More impressive is what the Deacon was before, the Trilobite. Trilobite? How did you get that big? How did you get so strong? I don't know. You got cut out and you're this big, and then now you're this big and you It was awesome though. It was disgusting. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. 10 out of 10. Well, obviously not 10 out of 10. It's C, because again, so this is like before Xenomorph, alright? And so the same with like Hammerpede and Motes. It's wicked in that regard, but as a Xenomorph, as a Facehugger, the Facehugger does such a better face-hugging job. Because this guy is very bulky, he's very visible, easy to find him. Hammerpede, on the other hand, now, so not only is this not a Xenomorph directly, but it's a mutated worm, and what it does is ingenious. It is that's a more of a proto facehugger than the Trilobite is. Even though it doesn't directly cause the Map Man to turn into a Xeno, it does. It does it. It's like, hey, all I am is the facehugger tail. I'll still do it for you. Which really I should have the black slime itself as its own category, because I feel like the black slime is like Xenomorph in its purest form. But as we experiment with that, we get the Motes. And the Motes, I want to put high because they do get the job done. But they do it too well. That's OP. It's kind of like the same thing with, the white hybrid. It's like, it's just too overpowered. If you can do this, why don't you do this? It doesn't make any sense. And so I'm only putting it in C, because it's very terrifying. And kind of the same with Bloodbursters. And Bloodbursters are the reason that Chestbursters are so low, is because they're very strong once they come out. And honestly, at first, I didn't like them. I was like, this is an affront to all things Xenomorph. But after a while, I grew to love to hate them. You look at that, and you look at the thing from Alien Resurrection, like if you're like me, you have moments where you hate Alien Resurrection, and you have moments where you love it so much. And I look at that, and I can see that one clone of Ripley, and it's disgusting, and it's beautiful. That's what we're here for. We're here for the body horror, are we not? Speaking of body horror, the Newborn. Again, Alien Resurrection. Sometimes you hate it, sometimes you love it. What is the point of Newborn? The point of Newborn is to go, that's fucked up. And it does the job well. So this is probably controversial. A for the Newborn, because it's disgusting. And that's the point. Like, you look at it breathe and its little nose flap goes and you're like, ugh, don't do that. And you look at the behind the scenes and you see the version where it has apparently both genitals, and you look at it and you're immediately repulsed. That's just good. Like, that's just good H.R. Geiger. Like, maybe not good H.R. Geiger in the terms of his actual mechanical, beautiful illustrations. H.R. Geiger is probably not the right word. It is good body horror that the Alien franchise seems to be going for. It is that good... You look at a creature and you go, how is that possibly alive? And it does the job well. And I think, honestly, the same... I wouldn't be angry if they reused the same creature and actually gave it the ability, like, gave it the chance to shine. Because the setting it was in was not good, right? And the part of the plot that it was in was not that great. But this powerful, confused, just this halfway house of horror. And honestly, I do like it for that. Then from Alien Covenant, we have the Protomorph. Now, I straight up thought that these were just Xenomorphs, but no, the community in the wiki has said this is actually a Protomorph, or Praetomorph, like the first part of Praetorian. And to be honest, I'm happy with them being like Protomorph. They're not quite cooked yet, but really all that is just David's little Winter Soldier coding on them. Other than that, they're just a full-blown alien, are they not? They're just a Xenomorph. That is what they is. And as it stands, I think that I'm going to have to go with B. Like, on the same level as Himbo over here. Like, it's not perfect. Doesn't 100% do it. Why is it doing what it's doing? You know, Himbo was doing it for survival. These were doing it for David. And it's like, yeah, they got the job done. They're no, like, warriors, super smart tacticians or anything. The Raven from Aliens Colonial Marines. I think the game's not that good at all. The game's terrible. But the Raven is one of the coolest things ever. It is the coolest thing I'll accept to a king. It is literally it's a Praetorian or a drone that has just been pushed too far. The ravages of war have gotten to it, but it keeps going. It is faithful to its queen. The Raven itself is probably what elevates the rest of Alien Colonial Marines up in my eyes. You look at the newborn and you see the eyes and the nose and you think that's not an alien. But the thing is, they do have the eye and nose sockets. I'm sure you all know that. You're all very intelligent people. It's almost brandishing it like it's going, hey, I killed someone. It's got the skull of the host that it was, you know? It's such an in-your-face reminder of, I was once a person, I'm now gonna fuck you up. Finally, last but not least, we have the Predalien. I want to give a quick honorable mention to 6. Now 6, I'm very sorry you didn't actually make the list, but I think 6 I could not properly put on this list because this is pure nostalgia goggles. Playing as 6, so you start off the Alien campaign. For those who don't know, you start off playing the campaign, you're a chestburster, you get branded on the head, you're specimen number 6. You go through the whole campaign, and by the end of it, you get this cutscene. Actually, I can edit in the cutscene right now. Look at that. So 6 finally becomes a queen. Look at that. That is double S for me. That is S plus for me. Specimen 6, more like 6 S's. Look at all of that. Top of the board. So let's end on a downer and talk about the Predalien. The Predalien chestburster is an S. S tier, because that is such a sick design. That is the perfect combination of Alien and Predator. They put them together. It was beautiful for everyone involved. Everyone was happy. At the end of AVP, some people were like, oh, I mean, that was an action movie. I don't know how I feel about it. But then the chestburster. How perfect was that? And how perfect is the design? Then we have the Earth Predalien, which I'm going to chuck at the end of D. It's ugly. It's very not what I want at all. So it's a young queen Predalien, so props on that. It got thick too quick. What are you doing when the Predator hears the slaps of your ass cheeks because you're too dummy thick to take over the world? Whereas the Abomination from Alien vs. Predator 2010, I feel perfectly gets the bulkiness of a Predator, however, is still a sleek Xenomorph. And so I'm going to put the Abomination from Alien vs. Predator into A. Let's kind of like organize some of stuff, because I feel like I don't want to give the wrong idea. So I think these two are actually on the end. Probably want to say like that for A. I'm happy with S tier being like that. And then for the rest, I feel like it's not as important, maybe to signify, let's chuck these guys kind of closer there, just to show you, no, they are like good, they're just not great. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. Xenomorph Power Rankings 2021, let's see how the meta changes next season. Thank you so much. I've been Mega Mad X. This is No Time to Grind. Please check out our podcast. Come at me with any other questions, queries, or feedback you have for this. If I said something incredibly incorrect, please let me know. If there's a contender for the list that you wish I included, again, let me know in the comments. I've got a Twitter. Just do it. You can find it. The links are down there. Don't click the elements. Don't do that.